Hey guys, Dusty here. Today I'm giving my first impressions review on the Asics Novablast 3 trail version. So when I first heard that the shoe was going to be released, honestly I kind of thought it was a joke. I thought having a trail version of the Novablast was quite frankly just a really silly idea. Especially the first version of this shoe, it was very unstable, and I can't imagine taking that on any sort of serious or technical trails. And then over time, the Novablast 2 came out. It was a lot more stable, and then the Novablast 3 road version is much more stable. And now we have the Novablast 3 TR or trail version. And basically, it's exactly the same as the road version. The only difference is the outsole. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, let me go over the basics stats on the shoe and talk about my experience running in it the first few times. So we're looking at a stack height of 31 millimeters in the rear, 23 in the forefoot for a heel to toe drop of 8 millimeters. Weight on my men's size 8.5 comes in at just over 9 ounces. It's going to fit just like the normal Novablast 3. It fits true to size. Width is about average. Upper is nice. Laces are nice. For those of you wondering, yes, the insoles are removable. The tongue is quite thin, but I didn't experience too much pressure on top of the foot. And overall, the lockdown is decent. Now, the midsole on the shoe, Asics is using their Flight Foam Blast Plus midsole foam, and that makes this third version of the Novablast, even in the trail version, quite a bit lighter than the Novablast 2 and the Novablast 1. And I find it to be a really nice ride. Has decent energy return, really nice cushion, can handle those easy days, tempo days, and even those really long days. So it's a really versatile shoe. And now the outsole, like I already mentioned, this is the only thing that makes this shoe different from the normal Novablast. And if we take a close look at it, it's almost a far stretch to call this an actual trail shoe. The lugs really aren't that deep, and this is definitely a shoe that you wouldn't take on aggressive trails or wet, muddy trails. It's just simply not going to provide the traction that you need in those more aggressive and wet trail conditions. With that being said, though, I think this shoe makes an amazing door-to-trail shoe. So it still handles pavement just fine. And actually, I'll try not to get too much into a comparison between this shoe and the regular Novablast. But honestly, when I'm running in the shoe, I can barely tell any difference whatsoever between this shoe and the normal one. With the exception, this shoe, the outsole on the Novablast 3 TR, is very grippy. So some of the running that I've done in this shoe has been on wet pavement, and this shoe grips like a champ. And to actually talk about my running experience in the shoe a little bit, the first run I did in this shoe was a 30K run. I don't typically recommend running that far in a brand new pair of shoes, but I had a fantastic experience. It was a little bit too dark when I started my run to actually go onto the trail. So I did the first 5K on streets, and they were wet, and the shoe gripped fantastic, much better than the road version. And then I shifted onto a hard pack trail for the remaining, I guess, 25K, and I loved it. I had an awesome run. I had no issues with the shoe whatsoever. It was comfy. The final 12K, I picked up the pace a little bit, and it had great energy return. And it's only February of this year, but I'm going to predict that this shoe is going to be quite likely my running shoe of the year, at least for a training shoe. So I feel like this shoe is one that not a lot of people talk about, or not even a shoe not a lot of people know about. So I think that's all I'm going to share in this review. I'll leave my full review of this shoe and the Novablast 3 Road a little bit later when I put more miles on, and then I'll also do a direct comparison between the Novablast 3 TR and the normal version. So anyways, so far, totally loving the shoe. Can't wait to put more miles on it. If you have a pair, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Like always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.